Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for those of you over there in our European section. It's time for the Network Marketing Magazine presenting the George Madiou Show. I'm Russ Devan. Each week I host or co-host this show with stars like George and Debbie Madiou and Ghazala Jabin. But this week you've got me as your host. I'm about ready to introduce two incredible people that are our speakers and our hosts this week. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the purpose of this show and really what it is, and the Network Marketing Magazine, because it's really all about that for you. The Network Marketing Magazine is the #1 journal and resource for training and information in the network marketing profession worldwide. It's available each month and has been for 18 years, nonstop, as a digital tool for you to use to create and build your business. Now, like magazines, it has editorials and articles that will serve you and support you from a training standpoint. But I think probably the thing to note the most about it is the value of the knowledge that's there, because we hear from some of the most brilliant speakers, trainers, distributors in the entire genre of network marketing worldwide. People whose names you would readily exercise, like Bob Proctor or Zig Ziglar or Jim Rohn, but also some you might not recognize as readily, like Big Al and Tom Schreider or Brian Biro, who are brilliant and incredible contributors in their own right. And the list goes on. So each month, you can get the Network Marketing Magazine for only $9. And you have at your fingertips over 4,000 articles in 120 different languages. Imagine that. As I said, the magazine has gone 18 years nonstop, and it's still going. And we're about ready for our April issue, which is about developing loyalty. It's going to be a great issue. So if you haven't subscribed, or if your organization are not subscribing yet, $9, a king's ransom, will get you each month the Network Marketing Magazine, the #1 resource in network marketing for training and information. So that's my ad. That's my pitch. Now I want to tell you a short story about the founder, the editor-in-chief of the Network Marketing Magazine, who in the last 3 years has become one of my dearest friends and a real close buddy, almost like a brother to me. This man is a serial entrepreneur, truly. He's owned over 30 businesses. I think the number is 36 or 37 in 6 or 7 different industries. But the Network Marketing Magazine is his crown jewel. It's what he wants to leave, the mark he wants to make on the world by shifting the image of network marketing from where it is now, kind of a hustle, to the brilliant form of distribution that deserves the ranking of one of the most creative forms of creating business and doing business in the world. So that's been his commitment for 18 years. And this guy he's got a great sense of humor. You'll pick up the dry New York, Long Island, subtle sense of humor that makes him so special and funny. I just love his humor. But he's also got a heart of gold and a huge commitment to making the network marketing profession everything that it can be. So without further ado, I introduce to you the name of the show, the host of the show, the star always of the show, the great Mr. George Madiou. George, come out of the lounge and on stage. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, thanks so much. Thanks so much. I was just going to let you go on with that little song. No, that's awesome. So, how you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous, and I always get pumped up for this time, because I know we're streaming live over Facebook and other platforms, and every week I get excited about introducing you and starting my little part of this, and and interfacing with our guests. And I didn't say this, but this week is no exception. The guests that we have on here are spectacular. And it's just a fun hour. So yeah, I'm charged up. I'm lit up. I'm ready to go, George.
So, and this week is no different. This is a good friend of yours and mine. And so I'm really excited. I just wanted to touch upon a couple of things. So what we have this month in the magazine is a theme: prospecting. All right. And we are going to be
loyalty, isn't it?
We're in this coming month.
Oh, yes.
This coming month is developing loyalty.
Right.
Right. So these are two great topics. I've had the excitement and pleasure to be reading this coming month's articles, and I don't know, they just keep on getting better and better and better, and I'm just really excited about what we're doing and ending March strong. I mean, if people have not read this month's issue on prospecting, got to do it. I mean, it's the heartbeat of our business. So anyway,
very true.
I'm really excited about our guest today, and I'm just going to share a little bit about our guest. And I've known her for a little while, and her name is Patty Lach Daigle, and she's an author. She's a LinkedIn social media trainer, a professional connector, and she's great at that, and a healthy living advocate. You know, Patty's passion is sharing healthy living through her DNA advantage, and we're going to be talking a lot about that in the next few minutes. Patty shares a proactive step to support your genetic health through proper nutrition, exercise, and lifestyle choice, so that you can empower yourself to live a healthier, more vibrant life. So it is my pleasure to introduce my friend, Patty Lach Daigle. Welcome, Patty.
Oh, hi, George. Hi, Russ.
Hey, Patty.
How are you today?
Outstanding.
We're doing great. We're doing awesome.
Me too.
So you got so many things going on and happening that it's really exciting. One of the things that I know, and we're going to talk about it. First of all, I want to take a step back. Rarely in a person's life is there an exciting time that is happening in your life, and what that is basically you're a brand new author. Tell me about your book.
Oh my goodness. Well, I have been a co-author a couple of times. Never had the ambition to be an author. I was not that good in school. But during the pandemic, I dug into self-improvement and personal development that whole year, maybe 2 years, and still going strong. And what that has done for me is giving me much more confidence, increased my functionality to have the courage to complete my own book. And let me step back a minute, because 5 years ago, I got really sick. And if it weren't for a friend of mine stepping up and say, hey, let me epigenetic test you, to which I said, what is that? I don't know where I'd be right now. And I certainly wouldn't have written this book. My book is called The DNA Advantage. And it kind of is a little bit of my journey the past 5 years of what has gotten me over the hump of being so sick, where I lost 30 pounds in 6 months and just didn't know my immune system was totally shutting down. And the only thing that helped me, because there were 3 medical doctors that I went to, and I gave up because none of them could figure it out. And it wasn't until I did the epigenetic testing and went to my holistic doctors where I started to heal and get better. So that's what my book is about, a little bit about healing process, about health and wellness, and how having your DNA blueprint can help you overcome some of the hurdles of illnesses, maybe mystery illnesses of life.
So tell me, how did you, more details, and how did you start this career of yours?
Yeah. So my friend, like I said, introduced me to it, and I wanted to do what she was doing, but I didn't have the background she did. So I actually found an MLM company that offered what I wanted to do, and I dropped everything that I was doing on board that company, and I have been with them for about a year and a half now. And like any other company, there's trends that change. And so this company is actually upgrading and changing and setting new trends for the future of health.
So tell me, what if knowing your DNA could really help support your health? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. If I can go back about 29, 30 years, I had just gotten married. My husband and I were trying to have a family, even though I had a daughter already and he had a son from his previous marriage. We still wanted a child. And I ended up having 2 miscarriages and a tubal pregnancy all in a year and a half. And so for 29 years, I was very upset and just wanted to know why God would take my 3 babies when that's all I wanted was to raise a family. And it wasn't until I did that epigenetic testing with my friend to find out that my husband and I both had genetics that, when they were combined, caused miscarriages and tubals. And it's a folate issue on my side, because when the female has folate issues, you can't hold a pregnancy. There was other issues behind that. But now I had to change my nutritional supplements to get the right supplements into me. And I'm going to be 66 next month. I feel better than I ever have. And my energy is high. My brain is functioning a lot better. It's my whole health outlook is, I think, on target. I'll just say that, because I'm getting the right nutrition for me from my DNA that was damaged.
So tell me how the DNA advantage comes into this whole process that you've developed over the last few years.
Yeah. So George, when you do your testing, it's a swab test. You send it in, and you get 4 reports back in the matter of 3 to 4 weeks. These are the reports. You get a healthy aging report, a weight management, weight management, skin care, and sports and fitness. So everything comes from the gut. Your gut runs your entire body from head to toe. So if your gut is not in alignment and healthy, you're going to be sick. You have that skin gut connection. You have the brain gut connection. I'm sure you've heard both of those. And the sports and fitness is all about your muscles and your endurance. There's actually genes that stop you, or that, I don't want to say stop you, that control your endurance levels. Some people are not meant to run 50-yard dashes. Some people aren't meant to run long distances, but that's because of their genes.
Wow, that's interesting. So what does a person have to do to really get in touch with, this process, I guess you would call it?
Sure. You can connect to my Calendly, or send me an email, or I'm on Facebook with Patty Lach Daigle, PattyLachdaigle. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. You can connect to me in many different ways. My email, patty@yourdailynourishment.com. And I'd like to have a talk first and just see what kind of health issues are going on, because it may be something that's above and beyond what we can maybe help with or suggest to them. But there's always something underlying in that DNA blueprint, that until you know that DNA blueprint of your body, of your unique body, then you're really not going to be able to get to the root of the problem. You're just going to get medicine thrown at you to cover up the real root.
So
From
it
what I
really
know,
clarifies what's going on inside your body.
it does. It
Wow.
does.
Wow.
And I
Russ,
ended up
what do you?
going to genetic. I'm sorry. I ended up going to genetic doctor to read those initial reports because it was so new to me. And he ended up running extra reports, which came to the real root problem, as I had a parasite that nobody found.
Wow. Wow. So go ahead, Russ.
No, I don't know what you were going to ask me, but I wanted to point something out that really fascinates me. I have an approach to work, to life in general, that I learned a long time ago from one of my mentors and coaches. Because generally, the way we approach life is, what's wrong. It's like, we have a problem. It's what's wrong, and this is more than positive mental attitude. The strategy is really, it just makes sense. And the strategy is, maybe nothing's wrong. Maybe something's missing. So the question to ask is, what works, what doesn't work, and what's missing? As a matter of fact, I said this on the show a couple of weeks ago, but where it's really appropriate here, I think that network marketing, but nutritional programs in particular, have struggled competitively with each other, because they're all saying, this is what we have, this is what this does, this is what's wonderful. But it doesn't always address the case for what's missing. And so what's interesting, I find fascinating really, about what you've got is a scientific approach to nutrition, supplementation, wellness, actually, by going right down to the deoxyribonucleic acid. I bet you didn't know that. I remember that from 6th grade, that's what DNA stands for. Okay. Going right down to the building blocks of the cells, your DNA,
The mitochondria.
and seeing what's working, what's not working, and what's missing, So you can actually do a diagram that's a perfect fit to maximize the impact that products can have on people and addressing whatever their issues are. And so that's what I love about this and fascinates me about this, Patty, because you're like, when there was the gold rush in 1849, and everybody was on a mad race to risk all kinds of trials and hardships to go to California and look for gold, or Alaska and look for gold. Very few people found gold, but an awful lot of people became wealthy by selling picks and shovels and Levi's. Okay. That's where Levi Strauss was born, in the gold rush. Dungarees were actually created then. But what you've got is you've got the picks and shovels for people that want to build a business. And not only that, it's monetized. So you've got a situation where you're actually creating a business around helping people create a business. And I love that. And so that's all I wanted to say, George, is just that what's missing thing really stands out for me in this approach to our business, the DNA advantage. And by the way, I love that title. And I know we're going to talk a little bit more about your book, but when does that, when can we when can the general public grab a copy of that? Isn't it?
I am hoping next week, but I definitely will keep you all posted.
And in the DNA advantage, I'm not gonna let people know that I've actually read the transcript. I've read it, but will you tell us what they'll learn? What do people find out in the DNA advantage?
Yeah, so I go over the breakdown of the specific genes that we test for, which are actionable genes, and what they mean by actionable is they can be modified with the right nutrition. So what happens is you have your DNA strand. Let's go back to school. You're learning to write sentences, and no, even go back further. You're in kindergarten and you're learning to write letters, and a T has to be crossed and an I has to be dotted. And what other letter has an extra? Say a B. A B needs a line and a circle. Okay. But in your DNA strand, they have connections between the two sides. I'm keeping this pretty simplistic, but those connections can break, and that's the communication that is needed in that DNA. So the communication is like you're giving this is giving this one a sentence, but the T is not crossed, the I is not dotted, the B is missing a circle or line. So you don't have complete communication.
Complete strands. Yeah. So you don't have complete communication.
Right. So, I mean, that's the simplest way to break it down. So what the nutrition does for you is to help, I don't want to say work around, but it helps to feed that gene and give it what it needs to help communicate better. And in the back of the aging report, you actually get a list of the supplementation based on your results of your DNA. That is going to be in your unique supplementation that is compounded specifically for you.
Wow.
For nobody else.
That's amazing. I had a little post-traumatic stress disorder when you said, let's go back to school, especially kindergarten. I mean, in kindergarten, I think I was just learning the alphabet. And now today in kindergarten, they're learning their third language and advanced calculus. So, it's changed a lot since we were in kindergarten.
Well, if you think about it, genes can start getting damaged way back then. They can get damaged from when we're infants. And I won't say from what, but there's many different reasons: environment, medical issues, so many different things. Foods can cause damages. If you're not eating the right foods for your DNA, you're not going to be healthy. You're going to get a lot of inflammation, which is just going to make you sick. Like, for instance, from what I learned, one of my genes tells me I can't eat any nightshade, no potatoes, no tomatoes, no eggplant.
That's
They
right.
cause major inflammation. So if you're suffering from things like uh, um, arthritis, it's from inflammation.
Right.
So you've got
Almost
to cut
everything
out
is
the
related
things
to
out of
inflammation.
your diet that are causing that inflammation. I also have a gene that I can't eat high histamine foods. So spinach, kale, shrimp, they're all very high in histamine
I
out of
didn't know
my
that.
diet.
I bet. What about bee pollen? I bet bee pollen's high in histamines, even though it's very
Probably.
nutritious. Yeah.
You know what? I probably need to verify that one too, George.
Yeah. That's fascinating though,
Yeah.
Patty. So and you learned these things by studying your reports on your unique makeup, your unique DNA makeup.
Yes, and I listen to many YouTubes. I've got three docs that I listen to their podcasts all the times, and Gary Brecka is amazing. Listening to him, Dr. Kendall Stewart. There's so many of them now. They're into the DNA health. Biohacking is a big thing. I just started doing some biohacking the past couple of weeks.
Let me ask you a question. This all seems, and we're just talking here, but this seems so cerebral. Does bringing up DNA and DNA testing, have you noticed, does that intimidate some people to learn about that? Are they like, oh my gosh, I can't, you're going to talk about DNA. I'll never understand that. I mean, do you get that at all?
Yeah, I get, you're not a doctor. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
but so many doctors don't get nutrition. They maybe get 1 to 4 hours of nutritional training. They don't get a lot of genetic
that's so
training.
true. And even the doctors today, you're finding the allopathic and naturopathic. The allopathic medicine is embracing naturopathic more and more. They're less at war than they used to be. They used to all be fighting to be right, but we're finding so much out that has been incorrect that we've been doing. It's been the common wisdom,
Right.
and that whole paradigm has been shifted in the last 20 years. I mean, remember just 20 years ago, fat was bad. Get fat out of everything. No fat, no fat, no fat. And now fat is good. No, fat is good. Fat's good. Good fats. You get good fats. And it's interesting, this field. I call it the eternal market.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I call it the eternal market is people are always listening for and interested in something that will make them look better, feel better, or live longer. And so people are willing to listen, and that means that there's a lot of stuff out there, of course, that's snake oil and crap, because
Sure.
it still falls into that category, the promises of it. However, the discerning customer will hear things and they'll say, that interests me. I want to know more. I want to find out about that. And you have something, I think, that's really unique and special and is so broad. The applications for it are so broad.
I'm waiting for it to really come alive. I know now that people who have insurance and have HSAs and FSAs, most of the insurance companies are allowing the test to be paid for with a claim to their HSA or FSA. I've also, like I said, I mentioned the biohacking. I've been going actually the past month, and wait till you start seeing what they're doing with frequency healing. And they found over the last 30 years that it doesn't just take one frequency, it takes a high and a low frequency to attack the cells, to either kill them if they need to be killed, for instance, the big C cells, or to re-energize the cells that are damaged. that need to be more energy, because our cells live off of energy. That mitochondria is that energy. So
Mitochondria, there's a word I haven't heard in a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
So much is coming for our future.
This is fascinating.
So there's another place where you and I have connected, and that is the fact that I have a foundation, Business for Vets, and you and your husband are veterans
That
and
is
have been
true.
in the service for a long time. And the two of you have seen a lot of stuff that your knowledge, especially in regard to the DNA advantage, can really help veterans in a tremendous amount of ways. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I did actually 20 years active duty Air Force. My husband did 7 years, and it's been a blessing. We still help people with their disability claims, because my husband ended up working at the VA for 11 years as a disability rating official. So we love to help veterans. I'm also a member of the Tri-County Women's Veteran Group here. And that's something too, that the sales from my book, I'm donating 10% back to that organization, as they are a 503c organization. But in my book, I had to be really careful touching on the military stuff, because there were a lot of things I did that I could not put into the book after I found out about it, like being desensitized from some of the things that happened to me. But especially women in the military, there's a lot that goes on that people don't know about. And in our women's group, we have a lot of support going on to females that have either retired or just did our 4 or 6 year veterans, that they just need more support than what people understand. And they're quiet about it. And especially Marines, they don't talk about anything that happened to them in the military. Army too, but there's a lot of hidden stories. I can tell you that. Yeah. So that's the other thing. I really wish that my military would get their blueprint known, their DNA blueprint known, because they may not have to, or should not have to have some vaccinations, because their DNA will not accept it or absorb it properly. It's that's the whole thing with nutritional genomics, how your body is methylating, absorbing, and converting the nutrition or medications that you're putting into it. I found out I can't take SSRIs, and what that is like the gabapentin for stress and anxiety and PTSD, because I have a certain gene. That gabapentin made me hallucinate. And it wasn't until I had my epigenetic testing that I put the 2 and 2 together, that no more for me.
SSRIs are what, antidepressants?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So not everybody should be taking them. It can make them worse.
Lots of the pharmaceuticals are that way. What's commonly prescribed. Very often there's the side effects, of course, which is what everybody talks about. Every time I hear a drug advertised on television, I got a smile coming to my face, because I'm weighing up whether the side effects are worth the benefits, outweigh the benefits. And it's like they say the side effects so quickly, and you're distracted by children chasing butterflies with butterfly nets and playing in the field. You don't hear half the side effects, and the side effects are sometimes horrifying. And of course they have to, I want to offer this in all fairness. the side effects, anything that happens has to be reported as a possibility. So it doesn't mean that that drug necessarily creates all those negative side effects, but they say could, might be, has been known to.
That's because of the person's unique DNA. If they've got a certain
and
gene.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. And if you do a full epigenetic testing, which I don't do, but I sure can connect the people to the right person or people, there is a pharmaceutical or pharmaco testing that can be done to tell you what pharmaceutical products that you should or shouldn't take that will or will not work for your genes.
What does epigenetic mean? I know
So,
epidermal is like surface skin,
the top.
top layer.
At the top of our epigenetics, there's a epicenter, and in that epicenter, there's millions of on-off switches. So when I say your gene may be broken, one of those switches is turned on or off, so it's not functioning properly.
Epicenter is like the beginning, right? Just so when they say this is the epicenter of the earthquake, it's where the earthquake started. So the epicenter is the beginning of things, like the beginning of your DNA.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Millions and millions of switches on and off. They all get turned on and off, like I said, by oxidative stress, by foods, by smoke inhalation, by so many different things, toxins around us every day, the EMFs around us every day.
EMFs, there's one. Electromagnetic frequencies, for those of you listening that don't know what EMF is, but that's pretty common. We're hearing more and more about the damage from our phones, from 5G.
Yeah. So I'm going to stand up a second. So this little mat that I'm sitting on, it is it's a biohacking mat that it's a grounding mat. Keeps you grounded while you've got all this working around you. I highly recommend anybody who's sitting at a computer all day to be sitting on a grounding mat.
Wow. You hear more and more about grounding these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is fascinating. George coming out here.
What would you like to leave with us, Patty, as we're coming to an end of the show? First of all, again, just repeat how people can get a hold of you, either through Facebook or email.
Yep. I can. You want me to put it in the chat? Or?
That'd be great. Yeah, if we could show it. I don't know how to show it though.
I think I'm on private chat with Debbie. I can't get it there.
Just put it into private chat. I'll get it.
Okay. And can you see what's going to Debbie though, George?
Yes.
I saw it.
Okay. So it's pretty simple. Patty Lach Daigle on Facebook. My YouTube is also Patty Lach Daigle. And my email is patty@yourdailynourishment.com.
Patty@yourdailynourishment.com. That's pretty easy to remember.
Yeah. And what I want to leave with everybody, I hope this has resonated with everyone. If I can tell one quick story, there was a young man up in northern Maine that I've been friends with for many years, and he played soccer all throughout school, and he went to college, and he got hurt, and he kept getting hurt, and he ended up having a surgery. And his mom says, I don't know what's wrong. Ever since he had surgery, he's just lethargic. He can't do anything. And, my light bulb went on, because he had anesthesia. I bet he's got this gene which he can't detox. So we went ahead and ran his genetic testing. Sure enough, his body wasn't able to detox. And looking at the sports and fitness test, he wasn't able to heal properly. So he went ahead and started on his supplementation. And within 3 months, he came back to me and with the biggest thank you. He's back to playing sports. He's feeling
Wow.
amazing. He took some detox drops that we had, and it's one of my favorite stories. He's just doing amazing.
Fantastic.
That's great. So we've put your contact information up, and I got to tell you how much I appreciate you on so many different levels.
Thanks.
I'm ecstatic that you're working with us at Business for Vets, and we're going to be relaunching that in a big way this coming month.
I look forward to helping.
But you know, I highly recommend that people end up getting the DNA Advantage, because you are a wealth of knowledge, and what you end up teaching and guiding people with is life-saving so many of the time. So I want to thank you for being a part of this. Is there anything that you want to leave us with before I end up bringing you back into the back office to have a drink?
No drinks for me, but thank you so much to both of you for everything you've done, and to Debbie as well. I look forward to continue working with you.
That's great. We love working with you. So thanks so much, Patty.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Patty.
Wow, that was something.
Isn't that fun? I mean, I love stuff like this because it makes you think, and it shows you really the direction that we're going in. I mean, it just fascinates me the way we evolve, our thinking evolves, and technology is just, it's mind-blowing, really. I mean, compare this to just 30 or 40 years ago. I mean, nothing like this, no understanding like this was even available. You know?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. And what a lovely woman.
She's great. Yeah. She's just awesome. So I appreciate you, buddy. You're the best.
Thank you.
And I look forward to next Wednesday. We have some really great guests lined up for the end of this month and all of next month.
Fantastic.
So it's a pleasure to coordinate this whole process with you. You're the best.
Thanks, George. I feel the same way. Take care, partner.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we will see you next Wednesday at the same time. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.